What is up, everybody? Thank you all for coming out tonight. For anyone in the crowd who doesn't know, I'm autistic. High functioning to be exact. I always say that first in my set because they don't make warning labels for us yet. And people ask me, Duca, how do you get up on stage and perform if you're autistic? Aren't you supposed to be socially awkward? I'm high functioning. It's on the list of symptoms that I'm able to talk about shit for hours and not care if anyone's listening. I was born for this, okay? You know, people, they say, how do you deal with it really? Sometimes I deal with my autism, I'll smoke a little weed, you know? It makes me feel like you guys for a second. I forget things. It takes me an hour to do a puzzle instead of the usual minute and a half. You know? But I think with normal people, weed makes them more autistic. Like, they come up with these weird theories. Like, you'll hear like, hey, man, the Flintstones totally takes place after the Jetsons. That shit I just say, okay? And some people, they don't smoke weed because it makes them paranoid and antisocial. Hey, that's autism in 2 words. So they recently gave us a month. They gave us April, which is the same month that has random rainstorms and bad pranks, so I guess that makes sense, you know? And then I noticed something about it. At first I was happy, but then I noticed it was Black History Month, Women's History Month, Autistic Awareness Month. They gave us a participation trophy for a month. As if we didn't win enough of those when our parents forced us to play sports. I actually didn't win the participation trophy. I won a sportsmanship award for scoring 0 points all year in basketball. Well, all you losers were getting trophies for just showing up. I was working hard at being the absolute fucking worst I could be. All right? Millennial assholes. I earned my trophy. It's actually a plaque. I still have it. So, besides, you know, they did that, but besides that, autism awareness, it's bad, man. Like, they made the symbol for autism awareness a puzzle piece, and they said, oh, they're the piece, man. They're the piece that's gonna fit in one day. But really, that's just the thing people make fun of us for liking too much. It's the literal equivalent of making the symbol for Black Lives Matter a watermelon. The only way they could have gotten any more offensive is they made the symbol a naked anime girl. But I guess moms didn't want that on their car. How did they even decide that symbol? When they tested for autism the first time, did a kid just do a puzzle really quick and the doctors were like, that's it. There it is. There it is. But you know, we have bad celebrity endorsements too. Like, our only celebrity who really talks about autism is Jenny McCarthy, which she thinks vaccines cause autism. Which makes me think that silicone causes autism, because you'd have to be pretty fucking autistic to believe that shit. She could have had a great charity going too, you know? She could have started banging high functionaries when they turned 18. You know, I know we need it. She could have called it Ass for Asperger's. Or, if she wanted to stick to the Autism Speaks theme, Pussy for Puzzlers. Or, if she wanted to go with her own bullshit, Vagina for Vaxxers. But, you know, that wouldn't even be that crazy if that was a charity. Because, like, there are some really weird autism charities, man. Like, there's this one called Surfers Healing, where they teach autistic kids to surf. It's a good use of funds. Trust me, we'd rather be fucking. So I actually collect money for Ass for Asperger's. It's the most legitimate charity in the world because the money will go straight to me buying a hooker. There is no middleman. It goes straight to it. You give me the money, I give it to hooker. It's perfect. And you know, hookers are great for autistic people because they're the only women who don't want eye contact while you're fucking them. So that's pretty good. But people say, Duca, do you get any fulfillment out of it? Like, you know, if you find a real girl who you love, you'd be more fulfilled. I disagree. Because recently, you know, I have a stripper slash hooker who I used to bang on Instagram. You know, I used to go to her regularly. And she used, you know, the money she earned, partially from me, to buy fake tits. Yeah. And now she's working at a high-class club in the city. So I'm helping people. So besides hookers, I usually rely on pity sex, which is perfect because I'm just autistic enough where girls feel bad, but not autistic enough where they think it's rape. So I'm right in that little sweet spot. You know, I'm perfect. But when I deal with my pity sex, I usually stick to two types of women. I like older women because if an older woman likes a younger guy, they have some sort of Peter Pan fetish. And I have been stuck at 12 since I was 12. So I'm perfect for that shit. If any women are secretly pedophiles, hit me up. But the other one, I like trashy girls because they always like have a list of guys that they banged, like what kinds and shit. An autistic person is never on that list. I'm here to fill a hole. So I got pretty good at sex, you know, because when you look like John Belushi with Down syndrome, you kind of have to. And I'll say something stupid after I fuck a girl, even if I do really well, and I'm going to get some return service, you know? Like, I'll be like, hey, I hope you didn't catch sexually transmitted autism. Which I'm starting to wish was a thing. Because then I could use as an angle. I could be like, hey, baby, you forgetting stuff? You need to put puzzles together better? I got your answer right here. It's much better than the angles I normally work, you know? Like one of the angles is that I wait to find out if a girl has a fetish and I pretend I also have that fetish. Some of these work out better for me. Like if I find a girl who likes to get fucked on her period, that's good because I love wrestling and bloody matches are the best. And people say, Duca, does that mean you like fucking virgins too? No, you're a bad wrestler if you make the other guy bleed unintentionally. I don't want to be a bad wrestler. That'd be a weird sex fantasy. Another one is I'm looking for a girl who got accused of domestic violence because I like domination. I'm too autistic to know if it's sexual or not. Let the fist fly. But then, you know, this shit could go pretty south, too. Like, if I find a girl who likes shitting on guys. But I'm not exactly in any area to say no. Obviously. So, you know, I make a deal. I fuck them first, then she shits on me, then I fuck her again. You may have heard Steven Duca just got shit on. I heard Steven Duca got laid twice. Thank you guys. But you know, there's one time in real life that this shit actually worked out for me, and I found this girl with an autism fetish. And, you know, that's not something you say. That's something you figure out. It's kind of like guys who fuck girls who look like they're 12 because they're secretly pedophiles. It's the same thing. You know, you don't say it, but you know it's there. Like the autism fetish girl, her ex-boyfriend never made eye contact in his life. So and then she hit me up next. So I figured it out. And, you know, she was really hot too, but it was the worst sex I ever had. She was a total dead fish. But I think it was my fault because I didn't bring the autism enough. When I have sex with a girl, you know, I try and keep it in. I try and not have too many weird fucking things going on. With her, I should have just went fucking crazy. You know, I should have started having tics, freaking out, like going on her clit like this. Fucking screaming, what do you mean you didn't come yet? Then maybe she would have fucking moved. That was my fault, you know? So there's a big nostalgia craze recently, you know? They're rebooting everything. You could get Nickelodeon comics on the shelf of this very store here. They're rebooting fucking everything, man. And I figured I'd jump in on the craze, so I started masturbating to things I masturbated to before I knew what porn was. You know, WWE bikini contests, Spice World, specifically on VHS. They were very jiggly in that movie. And then, you know, the Stacy's Mom music video, which I jerked off to once a year anyway, just so I remembered where I was from. Know your roots. But while I was doing this, I realized something, man. I realized with jerking off, you always start with shit like that, you know? That was the shit in my generation. In the 80s, it was like hair metal music videos. And before that, it was National Geographic tribal women. But then after that, you know, you move on. You start looking for pictures of naked women. You Google vagina. You see the picture of an inside of a vagina. You get off the horse for 3 days and you get right back on. You know, you start looking for naked pictures of just women. Then you start looking for porn. And you realize, oh, I don't want to look at dicks, man. I don't want to look at dicks. That's the first thing you think. And, like, eventually you get to the point where you could look at dicks. And that is the end of puberty for men. Being able to watch porn with dicks in it. I recently watched a porn with a woman getting railed by 3 dicks. Not because I like the dicks, but because I enjoyed the skill. I guess this is growing up. So speaking of nostalgic reboots, the Nazis are back. But like all reboots, they lacked the heart and the soul that made the original so great. Nazis, man, they're the quintessential bad guys. You know, they had fucking sick uniforms, a leader with a weird mustache. They had it. All movies based on them, man. They went from them. And now you got these new guys who can't even make a real torch. They went to fucking Lowe's to get their torch, or Home Depot. Did they at least do their research, like which one has less Jews in the board of directors? Hitler wouldn't have been happy about that. A real Nazi would get a fucking piece of wood, light that shit on fire, go to the streets. Then I'd be scared and impressed. I've never been so unscared in my life of people roaming the streets with tiki torches. And then they drove a car into the crowd, and it was a Dodge. Hitler invented the Volkswagens, and the Nazis aren't buying them. How bad do you have to be at your job? Like, seriously, like, if it were, the Jews would be in luck if Hitler was still around, because he'd be killing these guys instead, you know? They fucking suck. And on top of that, they're calling themselves the supreme white people. These are not the supreme white people. Bring me Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. A MILF porn star who makes it without fake tits. Those are supreme white people. I'm not gonna believe this. They're fucking bad at it, man. They are fucking bad at it. But all this terrible shit going on, you know, it's made me a bit of an autistic supremacist. Look, I got nothing against you guys. I just think things would run a lot smoother if it was us in charge. For example, Donald Trump would not be the president right now. But because we would have picked a much better WWE Hall of Famer than that. We would have had The Undertaker up there like, North Korea will rest in peace. So if that wasn't obvious enough reason, I really don't think I should vote. I don't think I should be allowed to vote. Because, you know, I have just the worst reasons to want to vote for things, you know, like I'm pro-choice because without abortion, where would death metal bands get their names? And I'm pro-universal health care because if we get universal health care, that means all the best surgeons will go over to cosmetic to make more money. You know how much better fake tits would be if we had universal health care? I actually thought of this while I was jerking off to a Canadian porn star who had these amazing fake tits. Her name is Katie Banks, if you want to look her up. But I don't know how far down the rabbit hole I've gone that I'm thinking of jokes while I'm masturbating. I've literally lost my mind. So speaking of the current world, there's all these rape allegations going around with all these big celebrities. And, you know, I'm happy that people are getting ousted from Hollywood because that makes more room for me. And, you know, when I get in there to stay there, all I have to do is not rape anybody. What an easy concept. And, like, I'd have money if I was famous, you know? I'd be able to just go to legal brothels if I wanted to. And I understand guys like Harvey Weinstein and shit can't really do that, but me, I don't give a fuck. I'd put that shit on HBO. Called Ass for Asperger's the movie. You could watch my blurred out dick going to every girl at the Bunny Ranch for an hour and a half. I ain't going to fucking prison. Legal, baby. That's what it's about. So, like, a lot of shit gets talked about with, like, cultural appropriation, you know? And, like, when I was a kid, it was really starting up. When I was in grade school, kids would make fun of me for not being black enough. Because I didn't listen to rap, and, you know, I'm white. So, they were white, too. I went to all-boy Catholic grade school. Not all-boy, but whatever. They were not black. But they were making fun of me for not being black enough. And I was autistic, so I'd just look at my skin and be like, yeah, buddy, thank you. I had no idea they were making fun of me. But now, the autistic people are getting appropriated. When I was a kid, I used to get made fun of for playing Zelda constantly. And now, I can't open Instagram without seeing a suicide girl with a tattoo of a Triforce on her vagina. They still don't want to have sex with me, though, which is the real problem here. So, you know, with all this stuff going on, I think a lot because I'm autistic, and that's what we do. We think. We overthink everything. And I was recently thinking, why is racism still a thing, you know? Especially white on black. Like, why? Why does anyone care anymore? We're so past it, right? And I figured out the reason it still exists. And that reason? Family motherfucking feud. It's white versus black 90% of the time. The real way you could tell that, like, it's all fixed to make people more racist is how mad Steve Harvey is to be there. Like, you see Steve Harvey, and he's just like, he goes over to the black family, and they're, like, screaming at him, all right, Steve, all right, we're going to play. And he's just like, why did they put me here? You know he pissed someone off to get this job. But I literally don't think it could be real how stupid the people are. And even I know black people who say, yeah, I always root for the white family in Family Feud, man. Because they make the black family out to be terrible. And this really happened once, man. I was watching it, and the question was, what is a vegetable that goes in Chinese food? Four up on the board. It goes over to the black family to steal. Black family screaming at Steve Harvey at the top of their lungs. Steve, we got this. The answer? Collard greens. You're going to tell me that's not scripted? I don't know if it's my pro wrestling mentality or just like that I'm smarter than everybody, but I really think it's scripted. Personally. But besides racism, we got sexism going on, you know? And that's pretty bad. And I think it goes both ways. And I found the way that it most harms each sex. I'm going to do men first. No one get mad at me. With men, it's our sex toys. Women get these crazy fucking vibrators that'll make you come in 2 seconds flat. And guys get nice plastic vaginas in the shape of flashlights. It feels real, says the clerk at Nightcap. They give you a whole thing. They're like, oh, this is our best unit right here. This is our best unit. You know, you put this in your drawer, like, you slam it in there, and then you fuck your dresser. It's like you're fucking a girl. They give you a whole pitch. They make you buy it, and then you buy it, and you go home, and you're like, wow, there's a plastic vagina. I could have fucked a water bottle. I probably would have gotten the same experience. And then, there's the women end of things. where no one really talks about this ever, which I'm shocked. And I noticed it recently. I was walking, and I saw a woman in a shirt with Wonder Woman on it, and the shirt said, "Great American Heroin." They made the word for female hero the drug that's guaranteed to kill you? Heroin? How'd they even come up with that shit? And people are like, no. I bet you it was the woman hero first, Duca. You're wrong. That makes it even more fucked up. Like, imagine the guy who was inventing it, like, oh, man, this shit is my hero. Plus, I really want to fuck it. Yeah, I got a name for it. And it never went the other way. There was definitely a guy in there who had a female firefighter ex-girlfriend, you know, who was like, I'm going to show that bitch. I'm going to show that bitch what she did to me. She ruined my life. Either way, it was a fucking fucked up thing to do, you know? So on the subject of women, I was wondering, why aren't, like, male strip clubs more prevalent, you know? Women really don't go to them, and I figured out why. Because guys don't go to strip clubs to see naked women. They go to strip clubs to feel like a girl does posting pictures on Facebook for an hour. You walk into a strip club, and every girl is on you. And that's why you go there. You don't go there. You could see naked women on the internet. You could buy magazines. It's not that complicated. If you have some money, and if you need money to get into a strip club anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But when you go to a strip club, they're all like, ooh, Duca, I'm a hot girl. Pay to have sex with me. And you go on Facebook, it's the same shit, except it's just on girls' pictures, whether they're with their family or with their boyfriend. Guys just don't care. They're relentless. They get on there like, yo, I think you got great tits. I'd like to come on them sometime. And they just don't give a shit. Like, they just throw it up there. You know, no issues. But women, they don't need to pay to feel like that, so they don't go to strip clubs. But I noticed there are some characters who appear in both places. Like, guy who shows up at strip club with his girlfriend is guy who hits on girl with his girlfriend, you know? She's clearly not cool with it. She looks uncomfortable as fuck. But you don't care. Then there's girl who goes to strip club to seem cool is girl who comments on the picture sincerely and gets dragged into a bunch of bullshit. She shows up. Oh, and then there's weird Indian guy who comments. He's the same in both places. He's the only girl. Yeah, he's the only guy you never see the girls at strip clubs touch. They stay away from him. It's like scary, actually. Like, they just stop doing their jobs. So, there's a lot of these memes on Facebook now, and I hate them personally because I'm from a time where I had to dodge child porn to look at memes. That was for a few people in the room. A few people know what I'm talking about. 4chan for life. But I hate the new Facebook memes. They're trying to prove a point. Memes are supposed to be about nothing. You'll see shit like it'll be a picture of like a bunch of fucking pills, and it'll say this is an antidepressant, and a picture of the woods, and be like, this is. I disagree with that because autism is like a variety pack of disorders. That's what Forrest Gump was talking about when he said life is like a box of chocolates. He's our autistic hero, because Dustin Hoffman made us look too good. We don't know how to fucking count cards. Stop asking me. Autistic people are the only people who it's hard to achieve our stereotypes. Like everyone else, it's like you have to like something. With us, it's like, oh man, you better be able to do a puzzle in a minute, or and be able to count cards, or I might not believe you. But there's the mental disorders. I like to help people. So I found porn to help you with every single type of mental disorder. I'm going to give you a few examples. So for bipolar, you watch a little light domination. Because that teaches you that even when you're not in control, it's not all bad. And then, for OCD, you watch a nice cum shot compilation. That teaches you that the mess could be all right. And then for schizophrenia, you listen to an erotic audiobook. The voices don't have to be all bad. As you guys can tell, I really do love porn. But I have another true love, and that love is professional wrestling. And I realized recently that porn and wrestling are kind of the exact same fucking thing. One is bad storylines and bad acting that lead to fake fighting, and one leads to fake fucking. Now, a lot of you guys are probably like, oh man, Duca's right now, man. Duca's right, he's onto something. No. But you guys are all going Steven Duca deep. When I do these thinking things, I go Ron Jeremy deep. You know? That's the kind of deep I'm going on this. And there's a lot of weird similarities. Like, number one, everything's about selling. You wouldn't care about the Stone Cold Stunner if the Rock wasn't bouncing off the rope. And you wouldn't care about what that guy's dick was doing if the girl wasn't screaming her heart out. That's 101, people. That's the first thing. Secondly, like, there's a weird inverse, you know. Porn is 1,000 chicks and 5 dudes, and wrestling is 1,000 dudes and 5 chicks. Porn should really step up their game, though, because how many times is Johnny Sins gonna fuck his hot teacher? Come on. And how many friends does he have with hot moms? No one has that many friends. And no one has that many friends with hot moms, that's for sure. Come on. Wrestling stepping up with more women. Porn, step up your fucking game. And third is the thing people say to you when you say you like it. They say, you know it's fake, right? Yeah, I know it's fucking fake. I'm not a fucking moron. That's how I feel about it. But one with wrestling, the one add-on is they say, if you like fighting so much, why don't you just watch UFC? Imagine they had a version of that for porn. Imagine there was this, you know, girls trying to make guys come in 5 seconds, and that was the whole porn. That would make no money. As you guys could probably tell, I overthink a lot. I overthink a real lot. And I overthink song lyrics probably the most. You know, I'm a big music fan. I love music. And song lyrics, they really piss me off. Because for years, I'll think they're one thing, and it turns out they mean something totally different. Like a big one for me was Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit. I always thought the lyric was, a mosquito, not a beetle. I thought that was cool shit. I was like, oh man, he's saying we're not the fucking Beatles, we're the new shit, we're the blood-sucking parasite. When I was 12, I thought that was the coolest music line of all time. And then recently I karaoke'd the shit out of that song. And I learned that the lyric was, a mosquito, my libido. That doesn't even make any sense. I write better lyrics than Kurt Cobain. You know, I recently heard Nirvana on a station called Pop Rocks. What do you think Kurt would do if he heard Nirvana on a station called Pop Rocks? He'd probably kill himself. You know, when I was a kid, when people used to tell me to listen to rap, they said, hey, you could really relate to the lyrics. Like I said, I was in an all-white Catholic school. They could not relate to the lyrics. They still can't relate to the lyrics. You know what white guys like me relate to? Pop punk from the mid-2000s, okay? All right? Bowling for Soup. Girl all the bad guys want. You know how many pretty tattooed girls have rejected me? All of them. So, there we are, man. That's relatable shit. That's relatable shit. And a song I always overthought, you know, my whole life was Evanescence. The song's called Bring Me to Life, but everyone knows it as the Wake Me Up Inside song. Wake Me Up Inside, yeah. So it turns out they're secretly a Christian band. My whole life, I thought that song was about failure to achieve the female orgasm. You know? I always thought it was like, the girl was like, wake me up inside. I was like, can't wake up. And then the song got resolved with a rap. which I thought was symbolism for fancy tongue work / maybe a black guy would do it better. Anyway, you know, my favorite type of music, though, is heavy metal. And metal band names really went down the shitter recently. They used to be real cool, you know, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Slayer, you know, real simple shit, probably gonna kill you, nothing wrong with that. I thought we reached our apex of stupidity with Limp Bizkit, a name that literally means soft dick. But it turns out they went out of their way to top that. And they do this in 3 ways. They either overcomplicate the shit out of it, like Between the Buried and Me, because I guess dirt was already taken. Or a bad reference, like The Devil Wears Prada. As if you're allowed to name a metal band after a Meryl Streep movie. And I guess Sophie's Choice to Die was already taken, because that would have been way cooler. And then there's your last one, the ones that make absolutely no fucking sense. Like Motionless in White. What is that, like when you come on a girl and she has to stay still while you get the towels? Guys, autism is spoken. You've been great. I've been Steven Duca. Thank you very much.